Allyn Root, who is one of the leading candidates for the LP nomination.
One of the?
Sorry,
One of the?
Well, one of the one. So,
possibly in the top 5.
so without further ado,
All right.
let's step out of the way.
In honor of you, I put my notes in hot pink tonight. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'll give you a little background. I'm an SOB, son of a butcher. I'm a small businessman, which is the main way I define myself. If you ask me who I am a small businessman. And as you find out in this talk a little bit later today, that's who I'll be going after with a vengeance as the Libertarian presidential nominee is 27 million small businessmen and women in the United States of America. It's an incredible, untapped, uncharted market for us. And when you meet small businessmen, they think exactly like we do on fiscal issues. Maybe not always the same on social issues, but exactly the same on fiscal. And I've already proved that it's a great audience because if any of you are in the corporate world, when you think of IBM or Microsoft or Colgate-Palmolive, if you know how those big corporations think, they'll tell you that one phone call or one email equals 10,000 people. So when they get an email saying you're sponsoring a TV show and I hate that show, they tend to immediately get scared and they'll get off the sponsorship of the show if they get 10 of those, because that equals 100,000 people. Well, in the last 2 months, I'm the only Libertarian candidate, no offense, but who has gotten literally 1,000 emails, 1,000, because of course I'm the only Libertarian candidate who's on major national media. Glenn Beck, Michael Medved, Mancow in the morning. I'll be live in studio tomorrow morning from the 9 to 10 o'clock hour in studio with Mancow Muller. I'll be at 7 a.m. tomorrow on the WGN television morning show, the #1 morning show in Chicago. At 10 o'clock, I'll be on WLS. I can't remember the guy who I'm on with, but I'm not a Chicago guy.
What time?
10 o'clock.
So, Ron Majors?
No. What name
No.
No, that's
Or
not it.
10 o'clock. 10 o'clock.
Actually, I can tell you right now. Hold on, I'll tell you right now.
On the radio?
Yes.
Oh,
on the
not
radio.
Roma.
WLS.
Not Roma or off.
No.
By 10, right?
10 o'clock p.m.
No, 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Jerry Hager. That's it. Hager. Yeah. So,
Okay.
I'm a media guy. I've got 1,000 emails. And the good news is, no offense, because obviously we're all libertarians, but the good news is none of them are from libertarians. All 1,000, I mean, give or take one or two, say the same exact thing. I'm a Republican. I've never voted for anyone in my life that wasn't a Republican. I heard you on this show or that show or this show or that show. Glenn Beck was the biggest one, of course, but I've been on Fox News, Fox Business, and they say, and they all say, my God, I went to your website, I read where you stand, I'm you. And the other thing they all say is, I'm a small businessman or woman. So I know I've got the right market, and what's so important about what I'm trying to say is, we can all talk about principles. And I'm sure tonight you'll ask me questions. I'll tell you anything you want to know about where I stand. But having said that, the Libertarian Party got 400,000 votes with Michael Bednarik last night. And I don't want to ever get 400,000 votes ever again. I think I can bring at least 3 or 4 million votes. That's not going to win the election. Winning the election takes 55 million votes. But I can bring in 3 or 4 million this time. And then my plan from the beginning has been that it might take 12 years. It might take 16 years to win the White House. But it's a real interesting plan. Even Glenn Beck said it. Even Michael Medved said it. Hey, are you delusional? Do you think you're going to win? No, I don't. But I do think that I could take away a couple of million votes from disillusioned, angry Republicans who can't stand what the big government Republican Party has become and the big government John McCain has become. And those people will grow and grow and grow. And 4 years from now, in 2012, we'll have a real base. Maybe we'll get 8 million votes, 10 million votes. In 2016, we'll have a credible shot at winning the presidency. And in 2020, we'll win the presidency. That's my plan. And by the way, my plan includes the fact that I come from the only state in the United States of America, out of 50 states, that you could argue is the most libertarian state in America, Nevada. We have a real chance of doing well and coming in a close third maybe this time and coming in second or first 4 years from now. For those of you who don't understand what Nevada's about, let me compare it, and I do this on all the shows. Here's the biggest opportunity we really have, is not only my state, but it's the fact that I happen to be, just by pure luck, I'm not bragging, pure luck, 1 in a billion, I'm the college classmate of Barack Obama. So it'll be the first time in history that two college classmates run for president against each other. I mean, it's almost certain he will get the Democratic nomination. I can't imagine any scenario that Hillary's going to be able to steal it, but you never know with the Clintons. You never know. It's always possible, but it'd be pretty stupid. In any case, to piss off basically what I think is a very important dynamic group for Democrats, which is African Americans. If they take away from Barack Obama, the leader, if they take away his lead, even though he's ahead in delegates, that would destroy the black vote for the Democratic Party. I don't believe that will ever happen. They'd be crazy to do that. So, in any case, we have a great shot here with Barack Obama. But what I like to talk about on all of my talk shows that I go on is we've never had an opportunity to compare the lives of two presidential candidates so perfectly. Two guys that went to the same college, graduated on the same day from the same class, Columbia University, class of '83, both graduated in May of '83. Both majored in political science. What has Barack done with his life, and what have I done with my life? And you compare the two, and you show America the difference. And if America says they like him better, great. I don't believe they'll say that. Because here's the difference. Barack Obama and I spent the last 25 years, because we're having our 25th reunion this May, and Barack and I are both supposed to be at the reunion. 25th reunion. I've spent 25 years opening small businesses, risking my own money, growing small businesses, hiring thousands of employees over the years. I've got 35 to 50 employees seasonally in my company, but over the years I've hired well over a couple thousand people at all my businesses. And I have paid their health insurance, and I have paid their payroll taxes, and I've helped them enjoy the American dream, and I've risked my own money. I even went bankrupt many, many years ago because one of my businesses went under, and I went under. That's what an American hero of the business world does. You risk your own money, you fight, you pay other people's taxes and health insurance, you build businesses, you create jobs. Barack Obama has spent the last 25 years basically as a student, a law student, as a professor, a law professor, as what he calls a community activist, as a lawyer, as a small businessman. I consider lawyers to be my enemy. They're the ones that sue everyone who creates jobs. And then he spent it for the last 10 years, okay, as a state employee. He was an employee as an Illinois state senator. Now he's an employee of the country as a United States senator. He's set for life with a fancy a fancy pension. And he's set for life with something that really burns me and should burn you, because senators and congressmen don't get Social Security. They don't have the same system as us. They're set for life. They have basically privatized Social Security. They invest theirs in the stock market. We can't do that. So he's set for life with a gigantic pension and great Social Security, and we're not. And so that's what he's done versus what I've done. That's the difference between small government thinking and big government thinking. And it's a gigantic difference. I think all of you can see that I'm a high energy guy. I'm a passionate guy who believes very strongly in libertarian, smaller government, lower tax, less spending principles. My hero in life, Barry Goldwater, and my hero in life, Ronald Reagan. Great example. Didn't go far enough for any of us in this room, I would think. But he still did a better job than any president in modern history at trying to fight big government and all the bureaucrats, and trying to dramatically lower taxes, which he did, trying to cut government, which he didn't. That was his big mistake. Barry Goldwater said it best: if you cut taxes but you increase spending, what you get is a disaster. You get a deficit. And so Reagan didn't do good on that level. But on the other hand, he was a great president compared to some of the boobs we've had since. And so I think, you can see that I'm a high energy, passionate guy, and I always like to ask crowds, if you think I'm passionate and you wonder, can I get the point across the Libertarian Party, smaller government versus big government, I'll ask every crowd I'm at a very simple question. Compare my energy and my passion to an employee of the Department of Motor Vehicles. That's small business. See, I go at 100 miles an hour, my wife calls me literally a human energizer bunny. And you look at people who work for government, and very often they walk like this. They're slow. They don't care. Their whole life is about waiting for lunch. And their whole life is when it's 5 o'clock, the whistle blows, I go home. And their whole life is, when will I be 55 and I put in my 25 years and I can retire? That's not my life. I never am going to retire my entire life. I love working as an entrepreneur. I love starting my own businesses. That's the difference. So what I bring to this party is some stark differences, and a great, just pure luck of being Barack Obama's classmate and being able to compare those two. I also like to compare the difference between Nevada, when I tell you it's a great state for us, and Illinois, where Barack chose to make his life and where I chose to make my life. If you're a libertarian, how about this one? Illinois, among the highest state income taxes in the nation, among the highest property taxes in the nation, among the highest sales taxes in the nation. You name it, taxes on top of taxes on top of taxes. Potholes everywhere. So what